السلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وآله الطاهرين واللعنة على أعدائهم أجمعين. We are talking about the dalil of wudu from from this scholarly standpoint. That means the dalil or the evidence for the wudu. Why we do wudu in this format. What's the reason why we do the wudu in the way that we do? We need to learn the dalil and evidence so that things are clear about wudu. Let's turn to the verse of Holy Quran from Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse number 6, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق وامسحوا برؤوسكم Let me write down wamsahu here. Wamsahu biru'usikum wa arjulakum ila al-ka'bayn. Where's the eraser? يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق وامسحوا برؤوسكم وأرجلكم إلى الكعبين. That's the verse of Holy Quran. So yeah, see, that's the pin. This is also dangerous. وَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ إِلَى الْكَعْبَيْنِ. This is the verse of Holy Quran from Surah Al-Ma'idah. O you who believe, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, إِذَا قُمْتُمْ إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ, when you stand for prayers, towards the prayers, فَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ, wash your faces, وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ, and your hands, إِلَى الْمَرَافِقِ, that means the miqdar and the amount which needs to be washed from the hands is till the elbows, إِلَى الْمَرَافِقِ, the elbows. وَامْسَحُوا, and wipe, بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ, on your heads, wipe your heads. وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ, and your feet, إِلَى الْكَعْبَيْنِ, till Ka'bain is this bone of the feet. Ka'b, it's called Ka'b. Ka'bain is the tasniya for two. That means till both the feet, you have to wipe your feet till these two bones. Ka'bain. So this is the ayat of Holy Quran, and all the sects of Islam believe in the Holy Quran as the final word, and this ayat is so clear about the procedure of doing wudu, and the Holy Prophet ﷺ had been doing the wudu throughout his life and taught the procedure of wudu, but we still find that the Islamic Ummah has grave differences about wudu matter among themselves, despite the fact that it has been very clearly mentioned in the Holy Quran and of course clearly taught by the Holy Prophet. Now we realize the fact that wudu basically is wudu has two washings and two wipes, two wipings. Ghuslain and mashain. This is what wudu is all about. We are talking about the wajib amount of wudu. Of course, we wash our hands and then gargle in our mouth and mazmala, how we call it, and then we pour water into the nose 3 times with istinshaq, and those things are mustahab. But the wajib amount of wudu is to wash, 2 washings and 2 wipings, 2 ghusl and 2 masah. And these 2 ghusl and 2 masah are very clearly mentioned in the verse of Holy Quran, but despite its clarity, the followers are still disputing about how to do the wudu. Now, let's go step by step about learning the procedure. First of all, we have to wash our face. The first thing is mentioned here, which is washing. فَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ. Wash your faces. Now, Quran has mentioned that we have to wash our faces when we, for the sake of wudu, we need to wash our faces. But how much we need to wash, it's not mentioned in Quran. How much we have to wash, it's not mentioned in the Holy Quran. So, those of the people who say that Quran is enough, hasbuna kitabullah, they must understand that if they want to understand how to do wudu, and Quran says faqsilu wujuhakum, wash your faces, how much you have to wash, where can you find? The Quran doesn't say how much. Quran says wash your faces. Shall I just wash it from my nose downwards this much? This is also part of my face. Or shall I just wash the right cheek only? Well, this is also part of my face. Or shall I wash this much only? Or shall I start it from hair to hair and leave the sides? No details and tafsil is not mentioned. Quran says wash your faces. How much is not mentioned in the Holy Quran. That's where Islamically we already believe that, we have, of course, Quran and the Sunnah of the Holy Prophet, which includes qawl and fi'l. The actions, qawl means statements, fi'l means action, and taqreer of the ma'soom. Taqreer means intentional silence of an infallible. Intentional silence of a ma'soom over an act. Over an act. So if an infallible ma'soom, if you are doing something, ma'soom is not doing that. You are doing something in the presence of the ma'soom, and he is sakit, amdan, and watching it. He is intentionally sakin and watching it over an act, over the action that you are doing. He did not object. He did not stop you. This is the hujjat of Allah for you to understand that your amal is correct. Because Ma'soom can never allow a haram action be committed in front of his eyes. He will always do Amr bil Ma'roof. He will not let it go. Because he is Ma'soom. So any action performed in front of the Ma'soom and he stays silent is a dalil that the action is jaiz in Islam and mubah in Islam. So this is called taqreer of ma'soom. This is an istilah of usul al-fiqh. This is not the taqreer that we use in, Urdu, or taqreer even they use, in the literal meaning in the Arabic also. It is a istilah. It has a technical meaning in usul al-fiqh, which I just explained it to you. Intentional silence of a ma'soom over an act that someone else is performing. He is not performing. Someone else is performing the act, but he is intentionally silent. This is a hujjat from Allah that the amal and action is jaiz and correct. Otherwise, he would object on that. So the sunnat includes qawl and fi'l and taqreer of a ma'soom. So the evidences, the dalil from adillatul muhriza is Quran and sunnat. And then number 3 is ijma'. Ijma'. And number 4 is aql. And we have a different meaning of ijma' than the Sunni brothers, and a different details about aql than others, so which has its own details. So that's not the subject of our discussion right now. What we are discussing is that Quran itself is not informing us about every minute single detail about the matters. If you say that no, don't talk about anything other than Quran, well, if you don't want to, because the Holy Prophet left behind us 2 things. Kitab Allah wa itrati ahla bayti. So itrat, the Ahl al-Bayt, and Quran. Prophet did not leave one thing. Prophet, Sahih Bukhari is also there that talks about Kitab Allah wa itrati. So it doesn't have sunnati. Sahih Bukhari doesn't have Kitab Allah wa sunnati. Sahih Bukhari has Kitab Allah wa itrati. So when there are 2 things, then we have to turn to the hadith of the Prophet and the fi'l of the Prophet and the taqreer of the ma'soom in addition to the Holy Quran. If you don't believe in hadith, then how can you understand the procedure of wudu? The first point that we must remember, that if you don't believe in the sunnat and the hadith of the ma'soom, then you cannot perform the wudu. You cannot perform lots and lots of ibadat, but since we are talking about wudu, so I am just mentioning about wudu. So, فَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ, and wash your hands إِلَى الْمَرَافِقِ. So now, how much face we have to wash is not mentioned in the Holy Quran. That's why we turn to the hadith to define it. And then we have authentic hadith, which is we will come to that point. We are coming when we reach the hands, we will come. So this is the Sahiha of Zurara. Sahiha is the best form of riwayat. Sahihat Zurara ibn A'yan, rahmatullahi alayh. Zurara ibn A'yan is one of the best companions of Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam. Zurara ibn A'yan, Alul A'yan. We call them Alul A'yan in Ilm al-Rajal. There are approximately 11 members of his family. All of them were from Kufa. 11 members, and all of them are very mu'tabar and great personalities. All of them were good. So Zurara and Suma'a, these were two brothers, and both of them were musiqa and authentic. Zurara is one of the greatest personalities. Abundant hadith, he has narrated abundant hadith from Imam al-Baqir and Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam. So this is Sahiha of Zurara from Wasail al-Shi'ah. Just if you want to know the evidence why we wash the whole face, this is the evidence from volume number. That's the Bab number 17 from the page and the page number 12. Wasail al-Shi'ah. So this is the hadith of Sahih of Zurara, where it's a long hadith, and I will just mention the one excerpt of the hadith which is related to our discussion, that Imam Baqir alayhi salam said, narrated by Zurara, that ma darat alayhi al-wusta wal-ibham. من قصاص الشعر قصاص الشعر من قصاص شعر الرأس إلى الذقن. That's the hadith of Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam. So basically Imam is informing us. We have abundant hadiths, but I'm just informing you one of the several hadiths we have about the description and tafasil of doing wudu. So this is again a sahiha riwayat from Zurara, from Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam, that madarat, the face that we need to wash, what falls, what comes under between the wusta, that means the middle finger, wal ibham, and the thumb. So whatever falls between the middle finger and the thumb. The middle finger and the thumb. This much is the width which Imam Baqir Islam has defined for washing. Whatever falls between the middle finger and the thumb. Min qasas sha'r al-ra's, from the place where the head hair grows. So that's the place where the hair of the head starts growing. From this place where the hair of the head starts growing, the roots of the hair of the head starts growing, from that place onwards towards ila az-ziqn, till the chin. So from the length, Imam has defined from the roots of this hair of the head till the chin, and from the width he has defined from what falls between the middle finger and the thumb. Now this, let's be very clear that this, when we talk about this kind of thing, our fuqaha say that what is a regular person's hand. There are some people who have extraordinary big hands, and some people who have their hands as small. So those who have extraordinary big or unexpectedly small hands as compared to their height, they should not consider their big or their small hand as the criteria and mizan. They should go towards the regular hand of a person. The regular hand, whatever is the width, this much is wajib, and the length is hair till the chin. So this is the amount that this is the evidence. This is one of those several hadiths that we have to prove how much face has to be washed. And if you remember, we have already mentioned the concept of min bab al-muqaddimah. Because min bab al-muqaddimah, we do certain things more than what is wajib. We call min bab al-muqaddimah. Muqaddimah means the muqaddimatul wajib. The prelude to a wajib. If something is a prelude to a wajib, that prelude is also wajib, because it is a prelude to the wajib. So muqaddimah of wajib is also wajib, because it is a prelude, it is a muqaddimah that leads us to the wajib. If you don't fulfill the muqaddimah, you will not get to the wajib. In order to fulfill the wajib, you have to fulfill the muqaddimah and prelude also. So muqaddimah of every wajib is also wajib. And just the example, very common example given is that if Ma'soom alayhi salatu wassalam says to us, let's go to the roof, for instance. If Imam Sahib Zaman alayhi salam says to us that go to the roof, it becomes wajib on us to go to the roof. Isn't that right? What is the order of the Imam? So but we all know that we don't have wings to fly. So we cannot fly to the roof. But we have to go to the roof. Going to the roof is wajib. And we cannot fly. So we have to arrange for a ladder. Arranging for a ladder is the muqaddimah that is going to lead us towards performing the wajib. So there is no need for the Ma'soom to mention, bring the ladder, install the ladder, make sure it doesn't move, put some bricks around the foundation of the ladder, and then you hold the ladder, then you put first step and you put second step. It doesn't need to say all that. When he says go to the roof, it is understood that you don't have wings, you have to arrange for the muqaddimah also. This is aqlan understood. So whenever the wajib is confirmed, the muqaddimah of that wajib is automatically wajib in Islam. There is no need for the Ma'soom to say that. So this is the concept of several things in Islam we do min babil muqaddimah. That's how we call those things that we are doing, those things min babil muqaddimah, because they are muqaddimah and prelude to a certain wajib. So when we say that getting back to our discussion, washing the face, it is wajib to wash this much which falls between the middle finger and the thumb. This is wajib. According to the Sahiha of Zurara from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, this much washing is wajib in the wudu. Now this is wajib. The muqaddimah towards this wajib is to wash a little bit from right further and little bit left further, so that you have yaqeen, you make sure that you have performed the wajib amount completely. Otherwise, how can you make sure? Maybe you missed a little bit from this side or missed a little bit from this side. In order to have yaqeen that you have completed this wajib amount, you have to wash a little bit further from right, a little bit further from left. And this is called muqaddimatul wajib. Is it right? This we call min babil muqaddimah. So min babil muqaddimah, we have to wash the face from a little bit from different sides to make sure that we have washed the wajib amount correctly. So even in the case of the hijab, we say to the woman that it's it's allowed for the women to keep their face open as much as it is wajib to wash the face. The amount which is wajib, the miqdar which is wajib to wash in the wudu. So this is the miqdar which is wajib to wash. So they are allowed to keep this much face open in front of the non-mahram, and the hands below the two wrists in front of the non-mahram. So non-mahram people can look at their faces, this much face only, which is wajib to wash in the wudu, not more than that, and this much hands only below the wrists. This is what non-mahram people can look at the woman, and the woman can look at the men also on their wajib amount that is wajib to be washed in the wudu, this much of the face of a man, and this much two hands. So if you are opening your hands like this, a woman cannot look at your hand. Or if a woman's hand is open like this, you cannot look at the woman's hand or any other part of her body, and she cannot look at any other part of the man's body, other than this much wajib amount which is wajib to wash in the wudu, and two hands below the wrists. So this is now clear that what is the wajib amount which has to be washed in the wudu. Now the second point that needs to be remembered about washing the faces is that we have to wash from top towards bottom. We cannot wash like this. You cannot put water from bottom towards the top. You have to pour water from top towards the bottom. Is this mentioned here in the Holy Quran? No. So it's not mentioned in the ayat of Quran. The ayat of Quran doesn't say. If you don't believe in the hadith, if you don't believe in the hadith, if you don't believe in the sunnat of the Prophet and Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, if you don't believe in the hadith, how can you understand that washing your face like this, pouring water from bottom to top, is batil for mubtil for wudu? How can you understand that? Quran doesn't say. So you have to accept the hadith. You have to turn to the hadith. So this again, how can we realize that washing the face is wajib to wash from top towards the bottom? This is also understood from the same Sahiha of Zurara, the same hadith which I told you, it's a long hadith. The same hadith, it says, فَأَسْدَلَهَا, Imam Baqir alayhi salam poured the water. Zurara says that Imam Baqir alayhi salam poured the water, فَأَسْدَلَهَا عَلَى وَجْهِهِ. Imam Baqir alayhi salam did the wudu in front of Zurara. So Zurara is telling us that Imam Baqir alayhi salam poured the water ala wajhihi, on his face. Sorry, I put one more extra. Ala wajhihi. Poured the water on his face. Min a'lal wajh, from the top of the face. Min a'lal wajh. It's a long hadith, so I'm just telling you that much excerpt and iqtibas which is related to our discussion. So the Sahiha of Zurara is informing us that Imam Baqir alayhi salam, when doing wudu in front of Zurara, Imam poured the water ala wajhihi, on his face, min a'lal wajh, from the top of the face. So Imam poured the water from the top of the face towards the bottom. So this is the Sahiha of Zurara, and that's the hadith which is the dalil. And of course we have several other hadiths available, but we are just mentioning one of those. This is the dalil why we believe, this is one of the reasons why we believe that that water should be poured from top towards the bottom. Now, we don't have any ikhtilaf among our fuqaha in this matter, except that we have two mujtahids only in our history, several years ago who had a different fatwa in this regard, and so they allowed pouring the water from the bottom to the top also, but those were only two mujtahids in our history. But other than that, and we don't have any other mujtahid who ever says that. So basically it is something which is accepted among all the mujtahids. And yeah. Now coming to the washing of the hands. Huh? Okay, coming washing of the hands. فَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ. Wash your faces and your hands إِلَى الْمَرَافِقِ, till the elbows. Now here we have several discussions about that. First of all, in our Sharia, it is not allowed to wash the hands. It's not allowed to wash from the elbows towards from the fingers towards the elbows. Towards the elbows. It is not allowed in our Sharia, but some other sects of Islam believe that it is allowed for a person to wash from his fingers towards the elbows, from bottom towards top. So this way they allow it. But in our fiqh, in our Sharia, it is not permissible. And how do they justify this fatwa and this belief that it is allowed in their Sharia that you can wash from the fingers towards the elbows? They justify it that they are, in the Arabic grammar, it is important to understand that this kind of word is called jar and majroor, and jar and majroor grammatically need to be connected with a verb or a noun. So in this case they try to connect this with this verb, faqsilu, grammatically. So they say faqsilu ilal marafiqi. They connect this word with this word, these words with this word, that wash, till your elbows. So that's how they try to connect these two, jar and majroor, which grammatically needs to be connected. They're connected with faqsilu. Whereas we say in our fiqh, we say it cannot be connected with faqsilu. Instead, it is connected right here with aydiyakum. So what Quran is trying to inform us is that aydiyakum ilal marafiqi. Your hands, the amount which needs to be washed is till your elbows. So this is what Quran is trying to inform us. So they say that this word ila is informing us that this is the direction, towards the elbows. Where we say this is not this is not about the direction. This is informing us about the miqdar, about the amount. Miqdar and amount that needs to be washed. The miqdar and amount of the hand which needs to be washed is this much miqdar. You don't have to wash till hair. You have to wash till hair. So this is the miqdar and amount being mentioned. It's not the direction that is mentioned. So this is the basic difference between us and the other sects of Islam about washing the hands. And of course, when we are washing it, so we wash it up till the elbows, and again, so basically, when we pour the water, it should go downwards towards the fingers, starting from the elbows, downwards towards the fingers, including the fingers in the hands. And some people, when you are washing, you're doing the wudu in the beginning, it is mustahab to wash your hands, so the hands, your hands are wet. So some people, when they do wudu, they just wash it from hair till hair. They think the hand is already wet, I don't need to wash again. No, that wetness and rutubat is mustahab, and that is not going to take the place of a wajib. When you wash your hands in the beginning of the wudu, washing your hands in the beginning of wudu is mustahab. So that rutubat on your hands is the mustahab rutubat. It will not replace the wajib. Now you are washing the wajib washing of the wudu. So now you have to pour the water from the elbows towards the tip of your fingers, including the hand. Even if your hand is wet, you still have to wash again. And this is the wajib washing. Is it clear? And also remember that min babil muqaddima, like we just learned, we have to wash a little bit above the elbows. Because the wajib amount is up till the elbows, but in order to have yaqeen that you have completed the wajib amount, you have to wash a little bit above, so that you make sure that you have washed the wajib amount. Because washing a little bit above serves as the muqaddama towards having yaqeen about the wajib amount. Is it clear? So this is called muqaddimatul wajib. In this case, it applies here. فَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ. This is the time of prayer, I think. وَصَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَى سَيِّدِنَا وَنَبِيِّنَا مُحَمَّدٍ وَآلِهِ الطَّاهِرِينَ. We will continue inshallah in the next class.